The SLP database also contains a language sample template, and we're going to click into that, and it's going to prompt you to download to your Google Drive. And once you open it, you will see a table of contents. Selected sections from the SLP database were brought into here so that you can analyze a speech and language sample. Here's the template. This view is showing you what your printout might look like. When you do your analysis, you can expand these columns. The text that's highlighted yellow will actually be hyperlinks to bring you to the tabs within the language sample template to help you analyze the sample. The utterance is calculated, and the number of morphemes are calculated based on you determining whether the utterance is a child or an adult utterance. You don't need to mark up the adult utterances. All child utterances, when you mark it as a C for child, this information will calculate, but if it's an adult, the information is not applicable. Enter your dialogue here, and then for the instances where the child produced utterances, copy and paste them here. Next, to count the morphemes, use a slash mark after every morpheme. So for example, utterance would get 1 slash mark, but utterances, you'd have to put a slash mark after the S to count the S. And then don't forget to put a slash mark at the end of the sentence. If you forget it, your count will be wrong. So let's add that in and continue to do that. And then what happens up here is it's going to divide your morphemes and your utterances and calculate the MOU here. You can put in the time start, time end, and it'll calculate the duration of the language sample. And it goes down to 200 rows. The irregular verbs lookup table is connected to this table here with a list of 49 verbs that, according to the literature, are acquired by a certain age. So if the student produced a past tense verb, you can put it here. It only can look up one verb at a time. If the student said 2 different past tense verbs like cut and sat or something like that, it's not going to work. What you could do is you can do one at a time, see the age, and then maybe make some sort of a note. In my morphology analysis, I can quickly take this and paste it. If you paste it and it looks like this, just hit paste values only and then look up your next word. And then Alt Enter will bring you down to the next row within the cell. And then you can do sat, and then you can put the age there. And that's how that would work. In these ungrouped columns, you can do your analysis. But when you collapse it, you can actually write out your analysis here and print this out. If you were to submit this by email, you would copy this information to a new spreadsheet. And let's open that. I know sometimes with Excel, VLOOKUPs might stop working once you export it out of the sheet, because now the lookup table is no longer here, but the information is still displayed, so we're fine. But if you were to see that that information didn't come through, because you type in the information here for this lookup, you have the information. But this VLOOKUP actually does not work when you export the sheet outside of that main template. The VLOOKUP is trying to find the information from the morphology tab, but that tab is no longer here, so the VLOOKUP is actually not working. But because you pasted the information here, you have it. What you have here is the obligatory context columns. So if the child produced a plural, or if the child should have produced a plural to make the utterance syntactically correct, you would need to indicate that here. And you would go to this table here, and there's some instructions on how to use this. Based on the age of the child, you would need to determine which grammatical morphemes should be acquired by that age. So if they produced present progressive ing in utterance number 5, 12, 34, 36, and 40, if they should have produced it and there was an opportunity to do it, you would list it here. And remember, again, the count for the slash has to go at the end, because that's what the formula is counting, and then copy and paste it into this column. But in utterance number 40, in this example, the child did not produce ing. So you would remove that. This way, out of 5 opportunities, the child only produced 4. And then this is going to divide the 2 to give you the percentage of use. This particular child, 36 months of age, should be producing ing, but didn't do it in utterance number 40. Therefore, it's 80%. And that's how this table works. Then you can save this. Now, back in the SLP database, let's say you want to link the language sample that you just created and have it be displayed or available to you for future reference in the SLP database table of contents. You can click on this row here, then go into the document that you created, copy the URL, and give it the matching name, and Control K, or this insert link will allow you to paste the URL. And now, for future reference, you can always have access to refer back to that speech and language sample that you did here. And that's how that would work.